Once beaten British heavyweight contender Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte has allegedly been reported to have failed multiple VADA and UKAD testing. Him, meaning Whyte, and his promoter, MATCHROOM CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn, were informed of this July 17th ahead of their July 20th showdown with then undefeated Colombian heavyweight contender Oscar Rivas. Now, audio of their post-fight conference and post-fight conversation has surfaced. Stay tuned, coming up next.
Hey, this is Cassie, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout outs to Blue Blood Sports TV.
Watch Blue Blood Sports TV. Hola, habla Cindy, está viendo Deportes TV.
Okay, no. Jesus Christ, man. I ain't slept at all the last couple of days.
But I didn't sleep on.
Fuck's sake.
Miracle.
But that's the difference between being a professional I need to keep my hair for a reason. Because it's a fucking stitch in just 2 days. And then 1 in a million.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, alleged allegations and reports have come out that Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte, once beaten British heavyweight contender, had failed multiple tests for VADA and UKAD ahead of his July 20th showdown with then undefeated Colombian heavyweight contender Oscar Rivas. Reports are that Dillian Whyte and his promoter, MATCHROOM CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn, were informed of this July 17th, in which they did not inform Oscar Rivas or the WBC, as this bout was for the WBC interim mandatory spot to then fight undefeated American heavyweight champion Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, or Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. Should whoever the winner of that fight would be, the winner of this fight would be the mandatory for that WBC strap, right? With that said, Eddie Hearn came out and he said that yes, he was informed, but it's not his duty to inform Oscar Rivas. We all know the backstory of Jarrell Big Baby Miller failing multiple VADA testing ahead of his June 1st showdown with then undefeated unified British heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, thus being pulled out of that fight. Andy Ruiz Jr. being replacing Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Andy Ruiz upsets Anthony Joshua. The rest is history. We're going to have a rematch. Now back to this story. Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte is supposed to come out with a statement as of today. Eddie Hearn came out with a statement yesterday stating that, this is nowhere near as bad as Jarrell Big Baby Miller's situation. I don't know how Eddie Hearn could make a difference between the two. Cheating is cheating, allegedly. If you use performance-enhancing drugs, one is not greater than the other, right? At the end of the day, they're giving you an edge that you wouldn't normally have. So you can't say this is worse than what you took, right? At the end of the day, taking something is not good at all. This is all alleged, right? So with that said, the post-fight press conference, between Oscar Rivas and Dillian Whyte, Eddie Hearn and Dillian Whyte are sitting and having a conversation in which you can hear them going over this conversation, and you can hear them talking about, the failed test. Dillian Whyte is stating that he hasn't slept in 2 days. Eddie Hearn says, me either. If you have nothing to worry about, and Eddie Hearn is stating that, there's nothing to worry about, it's not that bad, why aren't you sleeping? Why are you losing sleep over it? If you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't be losing sleep over it, right? But Dillian Whyte goes on to say, I haven't slept in days, right? Eddie Hearn rebuttals what he says, me either, mate. Right? And then, they go on to say it's a miracle, right? And Dillian Whyte goes on to say, he goes on to say it was a miracle, right? And what's a miracle if you have nothing to hide? I don't understand why it would be a miracle. Eddie Hearn said, I had a statement already prepared for you. Here's a few things that's being translated with the conversation. Then Eddie Hearn goes and points to the microphone and states in the microphone, gestures to Dillian Whyte, you have to stop talking because the microphone is on and people could hear us. Now, I know this is going to look like A, they have something to hide, and B, they could just be trying to cover themselves because of legal obligations and legal terms, right? So, yeah, they could be trying to cover themselves. With that said, you know, it looks more or less like they're trying to hide something. And if you're that concerned, and as Eddie Hearn being the promoter, and you say you're concerned with the fighters, and after 2 failed tests, then you should be banned for life. Well, this would be Dillian Whyte's second failed test, allegedly, right? He allegedly failed one in 2012, where he had a 2-year ban and wasn't able to pursue continue his career until 2014. Okay. Well, with that said, here goes the conversation quote. Right. Dillian Whyte says, "Effing hell." Right. Eddie Hearn replies, "Everything's all right, mate?" ? Whyte says, "Effing H in it. Jesus, brother, I haven't slept at all the last couple of days." Eddie Hearn replies, "Nor have I. But I didn't have to fight." Dillian Whyte responds, "Blank sake." Eddie Hearn responds, "Mate, that was the miracle of all miracles, wasn't it?" Whyte replies, "That's the difference between being a professional." Eddie Hearn replies, "I had everything. I had a statement for you ready to go, and he just phoned me up and was like, 'We did it.' And I was like, oh my God," right? Dillian Whyte says, "I need to keep my hair for some reason. It's a blanking stitch up. I passed 2 tests in 2 days and 1 in a million." He says one, and that's a 1 in a million shot. So, you know, this is all alleged. You know, we don't actually know if this is exactly how the conversation went because it's a little mute, right? But you can pretty much make it out. This is somewhat the conversation they had allegedly, you know, and Eddie Hearn could possibly be saying, "Listen, you know what? I phoned the guy, you know, to get you investigation, you know, because you didn't do nothing." You know what I mean? And that's a strong possibility, as we don't know exactly what they're talking about or what they're referring to. So Dillian Whyte, but we do know that Dillian Whyte is saying that, you know, two failed tests in a couple of days is a 1 in a million, so on and so forth. I need to keep my hair, you know, because it's a stitch up, so on and so forth, right? Obviously, they took samples of his hair, and this is what he's referring to, right? He says he haven't slept in days. I told you guys this in one of my other videos I did about this situation, that going into the fight, Dillian Whyte looked like he had a lot on his mind, right? He looked like he was worried, right? I said this, and I told you guys this way before this even came out, right? You could go back and check my video, and this is exactly what he followed up with out his own mouth, that he hadn't slept in days, he'd been worried, you know, he got a lot on his mind. I told you that's the way he looked in the fight, right? He looked like he was worried. He looked like he was distracted, right? His ring walk, everything, right? He looked like he was just happy to survive. He wasn't engaged, and he had this cloud hanging over his head. Allegedly, we don't know what's the outcome going to be. He don't know what the outcome is going to be, and you know, regardless if we look at the situation and say, listen, he shouldn't have done it, you know, that's true, you know. But when you do things and then you gotta step up to the plate and answer for them, you know, you're gonna be worried as a human being, point blank and period, you know. When you just got to stand in front of the judge and he's handing down your sentence, somebody has your destination and destiny in their control, in the palm of their hands. You know, that's a very scary thing, regardless if you was right or wrong. You understand? So Eddie Hearn claiming that it wasn't that bad. So as the promoter, you didn't have to fight, as you stated. You know, why was you worried, right? You said he had nothing to hide. You said you knew that, you know, it's not as bad as Jarrell Big Baby Miller's. If you know it's not as bad as Jarrell Big Baby Miller's, then you know it's something there. And if you know it's something there, then that's a reason for you to be worried, right? So in order for you to say it's not as bad as Jarrell Big Baby Miller's situation and what he took, then you would have to have something to weigh the pros and the cons, right? You would have to have something to compare it to. But in the same sentence, Eddie Hearn says he doesn't know what's going on because he's not a scientist. He's not a physicist. He's not a doctor, right? So then if that's the case, then how could you compare it to Jarrell Big Baby Miller's situation if you have nothing to compare it to? You understand? Okay, I'll give you an example, right? That's like me saying I know a fighter that's better than Floyd Mayweather, but I never seen him fight. Well, how could I say this guy's better than Floyd Mayweather if I never seen him fight? I would have to see him fight to compare the two, right? I've seen Floyd Mayweather fight. We all saw the situation with Jarrell Big Baby Miller. So we know how that played out, right? But if you don't have nothing to compare it to, then how could you possibly compare the two and make a judgment based off of what you don't have information? So he sat in the interview and said that he had no information. He's not a scientist. He don't know what it is, right? He don't know the outcome. But in the same breath, he says he knows it's not worse than Jarrell Big Baby Miller's situation and what he took. So then you know what he took, right? You see how that works? You see how easy it is? The 1 + 1 = 2, right? So and then he says that, you know, guys that fail twice should be banned for life. Well, now you worried when it comes to your fighter, but shouldn't you be looking at your fighter with the same eyes and the same lenses that you was looking at Jarrell Big Baby Miller when it came to Anthony Joshua? Or it's convenient because it's not your fighter. Although Jarrell Big Baby Miller was your fighter, you don't have a relationship like you do with Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua. So you don't look at it the same. You're not looking at it through the same lenses. Now the shoe is on the other foot, and now you got to make tough decisions. Now you're worried. But if you're looking at it straight down the middle, right, with all honesty and concern for all fighters that step through the ropes, then you should have been concerned for Oscar Rivas, and you should be looking at Dillian Whyte a certain kind of way, right? Because at the end of the day, if you can compare it to Jarrell Big Baby Miller, then you know that he did something that was not right, allegedly, right? In order for you to compare it to Jarrell Big Baby Miller's situation, you have to have something to compare it to. So at the same token, you cannot say that you don't know what it is or he didn't take anything, but you're saying it's not as bad as Jarrell Big Baby Miller's. That's not possible. That means that, yes, you do know and you have something to hide. That's why you said that you was worried. You understand? That's the reason why you said that you was worried. Right? But y'all know what it is, man. That's all I got for y'all, man. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. This is all alleged. I have no proof. I don't know. I'm just speculating. That's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. I just have one question for Eddie Hearn. Where's the concern for Oscar Rivas and his well-being? That's all I got for y'all. Peace.